everyone, it's Caroline here with another quick video for you. These are these boxes that have a belly band on them, and when you open them up there is inside a card and a holder for 3 candles. These aren't unique, they're not my idea, there are lots of them around on the internet, but I couldn't find one that came in a box, so I made a box for it and slightly adapted the pattern. So you can see there's one box that I've done, and here's another that is a Christmas themed one, and as you can see I've used the modern mosaic punch there and a new stamp from the stamp set, and there's 3 red candles in there. Now the other day on our Facebook group I discovered a lovely posting from someone about some candles that they bought from Asda that were only 99p for 3 of them, for 9 of them, and they are these. They come in lots of other colourways. There's another colour scheme that matches with the Bermuda Breeze set, but this particular sugared blackberry set matches up beautifully with 3 of our Stampin' Up colours, Rose Red and Blushing Bride and Elegant Eggplant, and it inspired me to make another one of these boxes, do a video for it and show you just to make these beautiful candles. So in no time at all, how do you start? So to make the base card, you're going to take your piece of A4 and line it up at 11.5 inches, which is just here, and cut that little piece off. Then you're going to turn it round and trim at 6.5, which is here in the groove. So this is your piece of card that's your base layer to start off with. You're going to line it up and score at 1/2 inch. Turn it the other way and score at 1.25, which is just there. Then score again at 3. Then score at 3 3/4. Then turn it round, and you're going to need to run a score the entire length down at 3/4 inch. And you do that on both sides. Your next step is to take your cutter and line it up with the 3 3/4 score line that you did, and cut all the way to the top along that score line, the 3/4 inch one. So that's here, and you can do the same on the other side. Now if you don't want to do it this way, you can just do it with a pair of scissors. It's just this makes for a straighter, neater line, but you are more than welcome to cut with your scissors or snips. There you go. You now need to trim this up, so you're going to cut that off at a slight angle. Cut this one straight up, and then a little angle off just that tab there. Then this one straight up, and a little triangle off that tab there. And then a small triangle off this tab, and then cut that square flush. And you're going to do the same on the other side, so you're cutting that corner square off with a little triangular, and then straight up on the next strip. And trim across, straight up on this one, and trim a triangle off this next tab, and then a triangle to cut this tab off. So if I hold that up for you, you should be able to see the bits that I've cut off. Now we need to create a window. Now there's lots of different ways you can do a window. These 2 punches work really well for windows, or you can just cut one. Now because I'm going to be using these really pretty candles, I want people to be able to see them, so I'm actually going to cut quite a large square. Now the simplest way of doing this is to take a ruler and measure across the size of the square that you want to cut, but I'm just going to eyeball it because I pretty much know where I'm cutting. Those are famous last words, aren't they? And then you can just line it up with your trimmer. and if you look at the markings on your trimmer, you know where you started and where you finished. So you can pretty much get them the same. And then I'm just going to get my scissors in and snip up to finish that square off. You can cut that with the cutter as well, but I usually find I go over the edge a bit, so it's easier just to do it with my fingers. That little bit you can save because it goes quite nicely as a tag at an angle, just as a thought. So here you have your base box, and what you need to do now is cut a piece of word window to cover this piece here. So you can either cut it out freehand or you can cut it out using your trimmer. You just need to make sure that you roughly work out the size of your window. So in my case, just lining up on here, my window is 1¼ by 1¼ by 4½. So as long as my piece that I cut is more than 1¼ and more than 4½, although not too much more, I know it will cover the window place. So it's quite difficult to show you how to cut that on screen, but you can see that I have now cut a word window and that it does indeed fit this space. It's a little bit wide, so I'm just going to trim it off a little bit with my scissors. This means that the candles will be seen, but they won't fall out. Then I'm going to use a little bit of sticky strip on each side to secure the word window. This acetate sheet is quite sticky. It's resistant to sticky things, and so I think sticky strip is the only thing I've found that will hold it firmly long enough. If you are having problems with getting your backing tape off, I find a pin or a pokey tool of some kind just helps to ease up that little bit of the backing strip and take it off. Also, if you hold it at a slight angle, that sometimes helps as well. What doesn't help is trying to get your fingernail under there, because that never seems to work. This one's causing us a few problems, just bear with me. If you rub your finger down it, that helps to warm the glue up as well. And you should be able to then lift up the edge with your pokey tool. There we go. Oops. 1 minute. Lifted the edge up and then probably stuck it back down again. There we go. So there's my sticky strip off. And I can now line my window up to cover up that gap. And this is good to go. So fold in these sides, and you can either crease them with a bone folder or with the side of your finger. It's entirely up to you. And then fold this side over, and then take that crease and that one, and you will now see that you have a box shape taking shape. The next trick is to take your candles and pop them inside and make sure that they fit before you seal up your box, because some of the candles are different sizes, and the Yankee candles are quite a lot bigger, the Tealights, than normal ones, and therefore I've just checked that that does fit, and my box is going to look nice. So then you can take your candles to one side, open this up and take a piece of sticky strip and run it along here, and again smooth it with your finger, lift up the sticky strip, and this is now going to come over and around, and make sure that you have a candle in there. Line it up and seal it across, and that now is your box happily formed on the side of your card. You can now take this piece, which will be the side card, and pull it up. And so simply now you'll need to seal one end with a little bit of sticky strip, because then you can pop the candles in. I'm just going to stick some sticky strip on the other end. You could use snail as well if you wanted to, or some glue dots. It's entirely up to you how you did this. I just want these to stick for now. Lifting up my backing tape, and then just sealing across. You just put the two flaps in and this one comes across and seals like that. And again, you've now got a nice little box to pop in your candles, and the 3 should go in quite nicely, not too tight, and then these bits fold across and we can do up that side. That is your basic box with its candles in, and you are now free to decorate that however you like. So come back in a minute and I'll have decorated it and I'll show you what I've done. So now we're going to move on to decorating the box, and what I've done here is I've cut a strip of design scrapbook paper that matches the cardstock, 2 7/8 by 4 3/4, and I'm just going to stick that on the card front just to add a bit of colour, and then I'm going to show you what I've stamped. I took the Perfect Plum, the Rose Red and the Blushing Bride inks, and I inked and stamped up a flower from each colour from the Stampin' Up Flower Shop collection, which comes in a bundle with a punch that allows you to punch out the flowers really simply and quickly. Then I took the sentiment from Chalk Talk and I stamped that out in the Perfect Plum and then punched it out using the 2 by 1 3/8 oval. So then it's just a question of using stamping dimensionals to layer up where you want these to go. I'm just putting one on the bottom of each flower. You can curl the flowers up a little bit if you wanted to, but I'm not going to. Just going to stick them on in a cascade of flowers coming down the card. And then I'm going to layer the sentiment on and pop it just there. And that is the front of my card decorated. And you can see 3 flowers and that and the candles. And now I just wanted to demonstrate quickly for you a box to go with it. The dimensions, the instructions for making the bow are on one of my other videos, and so I would urge you to have a look at that. But this particular box, I just wanted to give you the dimensions for it. The base is cut at, the actual card is 5 inches by 5 inches, so you need to cut your base at 7 inches by 7 inches. So I'm just going to quickly show you that. I'm going to take a 12 by 12 sheet. I'm going to cut 7 inches that way and 7 inches this way, and that will be the base. This piece will be spare for decorating the front of another card. To make your bows, you're going to need 2 1-inch wide strips. One is for the belly band and the other is for the bow. You will also need a little joining strip, so you might as well cut 3 whilst you're there. You won't need all of that though. And then very quickly we are going to take the score tool and score at 1 inch all the way around. So just line it up and score at 1 inch all the way around. And you then cut those corners in and make your box shape, and that will be the base of your box. And the lid of your box you're going to need to start with a piece that's 6 by 6. And you do exactly the same, so you would score, so you cut 6 by 6 and you score at a scant 1/2 inch, so 1/2 inch minus a little bit. You can make a shim for your scoreboard to do it that way, but I prefer to do it this way. So it's 1/2 inch minus a little bit all the way around. And that will then become my lid. So if you come back in a minute, I'll have the box made. So here we are with the finished box. I've used the Label Love stamp set and punch to punch out the sentiment. There is a belly band that lifts off and slides off the box. And then you've got the lid that lifts off. And then inside you have your card and your candles, and it's ready to give it as a gift. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you make many cards like this. And thank you to the lady on Facebook who bought these candles and showed me where to get them, because I've bought loads now. Thanks, take care, bye.